They want something that is going to push them to their limits. They want to know what it's like to be right at the edge.
Hi and welcome to My Outdoors. My name's Davey Wright. Today, if it wasn't obvious, I'm going to talk about a new film called Spine. 10 years of Britain's most brutal race. Are you one of the competitors? If you are, let me know. Are you looking to do it? Again, this film may help you decide that, because it goes in pretty deep. It's a film by Summit Fever Media and it's 48 minutes long. I was able to see it at Kendal Mountain Festival where it premiered in November, and I was really keen to see it because I have interviewed the guys at Summit Fever, Matt and Ellie, and you can check out the podcast if you want. And I've been following, I'm an avid follower of what they do. So when they asked me to review this film, I was more than happy to. Summit Fever Media have been involved in the daily updates which you would get during the Spine race. So when the film starts, as you would have heard from the beginning of this, you get that very distinctive pumping tune that I have found that I link so well to the race and the updates. If, like me, you're a dot watcher for these events and you watch those daily updates, then you will understand. The film is an anniversary film, obviously 10 years of the Spine, and it gives a bit of an insight of how the event started, where it came from. So it started in 2012, and the two founders, Philip Hayday-Brown and Scott Gilmour, they decided to create an event in winter, a long distance endurance event, and base it on the Pennine Way. So it starts in the south and goes 268 miles north and just pops over the Scottish border. So throughout the film, Scott and Philip are kind of talking heads, talking about where the event came from, what they are looking for, why they developed it, and also little tidbits of what they've done over the past 10 years to change the event to where it is now. They talk about the first year where there was 15 people who started, and only 3 of them finished. If we fast forward to 2022, there was 120 approximately in the main Spine race. Now there is different levels of it, and if you go onto their website you can check it out. The link will be in the notes, and you can see there are different variations of it, but the core Spine race, there were around 120 people started. 73 of them finished this year, so the percentage is going up, but I think that's because people who are starting it understand what that event is, or what the event is, and what it takes to finish it. I think, obviously in the title, they talk about it being brutal. If you've watched the daily updates while the event is running, or you've watched this film, and when you watch it, you do get a sense of the brutality, what it takes to finish and be involved in this event. I think really just to put your toe on the start line, it's a big step, and even the pros that go to it, and the names that go into that event, I'm not going to start going through them. You will see them in the film when you go and watch it. The people that start this race train for it seriously, whether you're a pro or whether you're an amateur, and you want to go out and do the Spine race. That is brutal, and that comes across in the film. The footage that must have need to be scrolled through to get it down to 50 minutes must have been immense. To have 10 years of footage to piece together to try and reflect how this event has developed and the impact on the competitors, that's a task in itself, and some of Fever Media have pulled that off. There is some archive footage which has been provided to them, and you can see how that event has developed, from the tents that they used at the beginning to now the buildings that they're having to use to accommodate them. Philip tells a story about how he came out of tent at the very beginning and there was mounds in the snow, and it turns out they were people bivvying, they were competitors bivvying who had got covered in snow whilst they were asleep, which then got him to step up what they were doing. So it does come across that how the event has developed. I suppose the next major part which is captured in there is the emotion that comes through. And at one point Philip's crying, and I totally understand, because even watching it does get you, and it did grab me a little bit a couple of times when they're talking about the commitment that the competitors go through, and as well as the emotion that's there is the community, and that has a bit of a crossover when Philip's talking about one of the competitors who is part of what they call the Spine family, and she, a lady called Sarah, who finishes the race at her second attempt. Other things that come across probably in amongst the community part of it is the characters that are there, and you'll see here that there's a character called John Bamber, and he talks about chilies, so it's probably best for him to talk about chilies.
If your eyeballs don't come out on stalks, then I've failed. Well, somebody came in before, they said, how far is it? I said, it's half the distance if you rub some of this on your arse.
Now, if that's not a reason for doing the race, then I don't know what is. John has obviously been involved from the very beginning, and he also tells some stories about the event, but what you get from John and what is brought out from the interviews of him is how the volunteers and how the people who are involved in the event are part of the family, and that's repeated various times throughout the film, and it certainly feels that way, and you can feel it from the film. Again, just another credit to how it is edited and how the material that they've captured is used in this film. But along with that, there are the people who aren't even involved in the event, and things like that are captured, where there's two separate people at different stages of the route that live on the route, and they will bring them in and give them tea or coffee. There's one point where Debbie Martin-Consani is sat down and gets a bowl of soup. That's provided completely off her own back. That's not provided by the event, and it goes to show what the event has done for the community, either the local community that are there, but also the running community, and that again shines through in the film, and it almost makes you want to go and do it. For me personally, it's probably that much, but I can see how somebody who watches this, and this is talked about in the film, that this is a challenge. So watching this film will make you realise that challenge, and as much as it looks absolutely brutal, quote marks, it does entice you to do it. And I did think about it when I was sat in the theatre in Kendal, but at the moment I'm not there. So there is a lady that is interviewed at one of the huts, and she puts it beautifully, in my opinion, and she says there are races that measure you as an athlete, but the Spine measures you as a person, and what the event throws at you. Now I've slightly paraphrased that, but that it comes across. You see the people powering through, you see the community huddling around people, down to competitors who stop to help others. Actually, at one point, you hear Matt talking to a competitor who is struggling to meet a cutoff, and he is even willing him on to get him, tell him he can do it and get to the end. I mean, the film is well put together. It captures exactly what I think that the Spine Race is about. I was going to talk about some of the stories and the people who are interviewed, some of the athletes and some of the other competitors, but I think it would be giving the game away a little bit and maybe a bit of a spoiler, so I want you to go and watch it because I highly recommend it. Even if you're not a big ultra running fan, it gives a flavour of the community that's there, the emotion that runs through this event, whether it be happiness or whether it be the pain that some of these competitors are in, that shines through in the film. And also, which is in the title, the brutality of it, whether that be the weather, whether that be the conditions underfoot, whether that be the pain that some of these competitors are going through to get to the end. All of that shines through in the film. So check out the link in the description and go and watch the film. It's currently on Vimeo on demand and will be on Amazon in the future. Again, please watch it. Thanks for watching. If you've got any feedback on the film, or if it's made you go and join the race, which is in January, then let me know, and hopefully we see you on the next edition of the Spine Race film. I've been Davey Wright. Thank you very much to Summit Fever Media for sending me the link. If you haven't already subscribed, please subscribe to the channel, and we will see you again in the next video.